Squirtle. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be refurbing the calipers on my RX-7 after I painted the wheels in the last video. They're looking a bit sorry for himself. So first up we'll look at what materials we need. Alright, so I got my paint. It's heat resistant, so 260. I won't call it like high temp paint, but it's designed for calipers, and also this one is supposed to not require a primer or a lacquer, but I'm going to lacquer them anyway because I want a bit more protection and I want them to look a bit shinier. So we'll give this a bash and we'll see what it's like. All this stuff I will link in the description. I've got some speed leaders, so if you never use these, they have like a valve inside, so that instead of opening them, pressing the brake, closing them and doing that sort of 20 times, you just crack them off, pump the brake pedal, and because it's got a little ball or a spring in there, it will just bleed itself. Pretty handy. It only cost me like 20 quid. And I've got a seal kit, so I've got this from Mazda. It's just got all the seals, even inside the pistons, so we'll be replacing all them. You can get them from a company called Big Red. I will link them in the description. They sorted us out for the Datsun ones, which is a 40-year-old car. They're pretty hard to get hold of, so yeah, I'd recommend them. Lacquer wise, I've got this high temp lacquer. It's supposed to do 800 degrees C. Not that I would need that, but that's what we need. We'll head down to the garage now, strip them down, and I'm going to blast them in the cabinet. So let's get to it. Right, so this is me down the garage earlier, just stripping the caliper down, using the airline to pop the pistons out, and then just a screwdriver to gently pry them out, and pulling all the seals off, just cleaning up the caliper. This one was a bit of a nightmare to get the pistons out of, but it all came out. There's the old seals, all going in the bin. Pistons came out alright. You can buy these new in the kits, they're not that expensive if you need new ones. And there's the calipers all stripped down, ready to go. Here I'm just degreasing them, just to get all the shit off, because I don't want that going in the cabinet. Also, if you're sanding it, you're just going to be rubbing it into the caliper. It's going to give you problems when you paint it. So it actually came up pretty decent, considering it's been painted 4 years now. So this is where we're at the minute. Ready for blasting. I've got this old brake line just put in there, crimped off. I've got the old bleed nipple in, and I've got some masking tape in where the pistons go, just to stop any sand from the blaster getting in there, because over time that's just going to wear out the seals. So I'm going to use my mate Jack's blaster next door. So he's restoring his barge under there. So I'm just going to throw him in that blaster on top of that table and get blasted. If you've not got a blaster, you can just use sort of a wire wheel on the end of a drill, or even sandpaper. It's just going to take you a bit longer. So let's get them blasted. So that's them blasted. I'm not concerned about the little bits of red on it. If it survived the blaster, then it's earned its place on my caliper as far as I'm concerned. So back to the shed and throw some paint on. Right, so I just hung them up on a little bit of welding wire, and I'm going to give them probably 2 coats with this. I'll just see how far one can gets me on them 2 calipers. I've got another can there if it don't go far enough, but I'd like to save that one to do the rear calipers when I get a rebuild kit for that, ideally. So give it 2 coats now. Maybe spin them around halfway through so I don't miss that patch on that bolt hole, but it won't really matter anyway. So yeah, we'll give it 2 coats and we'll see how it goes on. Right, so that is them. They've had 3 coats. I left it overnight. The paint was a little bit weird to spray. The first coat sort of almost started to react a little bit. You just have to give it a nice dust coat and then let that dry, and then the next 2 coats went on alright. So you can just leave it like that, but it's not really as glossy as I want, so I'm going to put some lacquer on it. Probably put 2 coats of that on and we'll see what that looks like. Right, so that's the calipers painted. I've done 3 coats of paint and then 2 coats of lacquer. The lacquer has definitely given like a high gloss, a lot higher gloss than what the paint would have. So I'm glad I did that for the extra £9 or whatever. So I've rubbed the pistons down with a bit of 2000 grit just to get them nice and shiny again. And then I'm going to rebuild these now, put all the new seals in. Make sure you lube the pistons when you put them back in. You don't want them tearing the seals out. So we'll get them built up and see what they look like. Alright, so that's it. All in all, pretty easy job. Took me about 2 days with the paint drying and stuff like that to do. I'm just waiting on some pads now, and then I can throw them on the car. So if you want to see what they look like behind the wheels I've just painted, head over to the Instagram at TheDIYtuners, and I'll post a pic on there as soon as the brake pads turn up. I hope you found it useful. If you do, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.